Hi everybody! Today I'm going to show you how to crochet a bobble hat. This hat is super easy to make and only uses one ball of yarn too. To complete this project, you're going to need one ball of Drops Andes, a 9mm hook, and if you have one, an 85mm pom-pom maker. You'll also need some spare yarn from your stash to make your pom-pom with. First, you need to start off by making a magic ring. This is pretty easy, just wind the yarn round like so and do a chain to secure it. Then chain 2. Now usually when you're making treble stitches, you make your starting chain of 3, but I find it a bit tall for this project, so have just used 2 instead. You then want to make 11 treble crochets into your circle. This will give you a total of 12 stitches. Here I've got my 12 stitches and I'm pulling the end tight to close the circle. Now close the circle by finding the second chain and making a slip stitch into it. If you're doing a chain of 3, then slip stitch into the third chain. Now it's time for round 2. So make your starting chain, I'm just going to do 2, and then you want to put a treble crochet into the same stitch, just there. You now want to put 2 treble stitches in every stitch around your circle. So there's the next stitch and I'm going to put 2 into there. Continue all the way around, so you will now have 24 stitches by the end of your round. Round 2 is finished, so it's time to close the round with a slip stitch into the top of your chain. You're then ready for round 3. Make your starting chain. This time, put 2 stitches, trebles, into the next stitch. You then want to put 1 treble into the following stitch, and then 2 trebles into the next stitch. Continue this around your circle, 1 treble in the first stitch, 2 trebles in the next stitch. At the end of round 3, you'll have 36 stitches. Round 4 is our last round of increases, so make 8 treble stitches including your starting chain, and then put 2 trebles in the following stitch. Repeat this around, 8 trebles and then 2 stitches in the next stitch. You'll have 39 stitches by the end of round 4. Rounds 5 to 11 couldn't be any easier. Simply make 1 treble stitch in every stitch you've got all the way around, so you'll have 39 stitches in each round for the next few rounds. Now it's time to make the brim of your hat, or leave it off if you prefer. This is done very simply by simply turning your work, and I'll show you what I mean. I've joined the round with a slip stitch, and now I'm going to do my starting chain of 2. Now I'm going to turn my work and simply work in the opposite direction. 1 stitch in every stitch as before, and we're making trebles. You need to make 3 rounds in this opposite direction and your brim will be completed. Here you can see the bottom of the hat, and that's going to be the brim that turns up. I haven't joined it with a slip stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do an invisible fastening off. Thread your yarn end onto your needle and find the first treble stitch, not your chains, the first treble stitch you made. Insert your needle underneath the top of the stitch, just like that, pull it through, and then insert it back into that first stitch there and pull it through underneath. This makes it look as though it's the top of an ordinary stitch, and you can see it's a really neat finish. Weave away the ends and your hat's completed. You can leave it like this if you prefer, or you can add a pom-pom. Pom-pom makers come in all shapes and sizes and are a really quick way of making a pom-pom. First of all, open it out, and then you just want to wind your yarn around and around, filling one side. When your side's full, close it up, cut your yarn and then repeat on the other side. Close this side in, and then you'll need a really sharp pair of scissors and cut along the middle to release the yarn. Once you've done this on both sides, you'll need a length of yarn to tie around the middle of the pom-pom maker. So that length will do. Tie it around the middle. This is just going to stop all the ends from escaping. Pull it tight and then do a really secure knot. These ends we're going to use for sewing the pom-pom to the hat in a minute. Now we need to release the yarn from the pom-pom maker. First, ease the side bits out. It can be a bit stiff. And then pull the two middle sections apart. And there's your pom-pom. It'll just need a bit of a trim and then it'll be perfect. Thread one of the ends with your needle and you're going to sew it to the very top of the hat there. Repeat with the other length of yarn. Once you've threaded the two ends inside the hat, turn it inside out and tie those ends securely together. Weave away any loose ends, turn your hat the right way out, and you're done. This hat pattern is really easy to adapt for any size head. The pattern I've shown you will fit an adult, but to make it smaller it's very easy. Simply leave out round 4 and maybe even round 3 if you're making a tiny hat, and continue to make just one stitch in every stitch around. Then all you need to do is adjust the number of rounds to fit the head you're making for. Don't forget to check out my blog for lots of free patterns and tips and advice. And there's also my book, Beginner's Guide to Crochet. If you're up for a challenge, then why not check out my Etsy shop where you'll find lots of patterns. Thanks for watching. Bye!